Good evening, everybody. We are so excited here in our second day of this incredible seminar. And we are so excited to listen for our leader, Alan Nagao. We're going to review today the chapters of faith, auto-suggestion, and we are so excited. And just let me tell you a little bit about him. I met him 13 years ago. And I had the privilege to listen to his story and ask him about how can I program my mind. And he asked about my goals. And the first thing that he said is that I have to learn how to dream big. And I didn't know how to do that. The only thing that I can tell you is I decided to do that. And doing that, and doing the statement that it was the homework from yesterday, but that we are going to review today, I was able to complete my whole dreams. I'm so excited because it changed my life completely. So I'm so excited to introduce this amazing leader who is second generation to Napoleon Hill. A leader that created more than $30 million in the JoJo business. And actually, he almost made $20 other million in the Nuskin business. So he is an amazing opportunity to introduce him. As you can see, our room is full, but we can go to YouTube and you can continue to be in seminar. If you missed yesterday, we had that recorded, so you just need to ask your leader and ask for the record. So please help me to receive Alan Nagao with all this energy from your houses, because he's been preparing this seminar from 40:30 a.m. So please open your cameras. It's so important that you are present here to show all your energy, because we are gonna make this new year 2023 be the biggest year that we have in our life. And for that, we need to program our mind and put in our bright energy. So please let me welcome Alan Nagao.
Woo! Aloha, everybody. Aloha. I love you guys. It's been an awesome journey for me to prepare for these events. And, I just want to share a couple of things from last night homework. I'm looking at all of you in your homes, in your computers. I love looking at all your faces. So please turn on your cameras and we will start. We do have translation rooms, English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and the Korean site is off-site over here, but we have a bunch of Koreans that are my friends as well on this incredible program. Oh, I love you guys. I love all your cameras on. It's beautiful. And I just want to share a couple points about yesterday and about, how we can improve our performance in 2023. So the first thing we must do is set a goal you don't think you can achieve. This is the most important thing I can tell you. Set a goal so big that you don't know that you can do it. This is so important because when we are practicing this philosophy of success, I always look at it like we need to prove that we're not just incrementally learning and growing like a little ramp like this, or maybe for you guys, the ramp is going up and down like this. We don't want that. What we want is for you to skip out and have like airspace between what you're doing and how your results compared to last year. There is actually space. So you're actually taking off in a completely new trajectory. And it means that we don't actually use the philosophy of success until we have to use it. And I really want to emphasize that, because in Napoleon Hill's work, in Think and Grow Rich, we talk about this secret, and you want to be able to discover the secret. That is your job. Find the other half. If you are here, you already possess one half of the secret. So now it's time for you to discover the second half. And during the next 6-7 days, plus, yesterday, so 8 days, in the 8-day class, we have listed or talked about the secret no less than 100 times. And your job is to discover it for yourself. And I'm not saying that's an easy process. I'm not saying you're going to get it just with an idea. It's not like that. You actually have to find the secret. And some people say you are introduced to your other self. You're introduced to your other self. So that gives you a hint on what this kind of secret is. But, Napoleon Hill said, when you discover it, you will turn over a glass and your life will never be the same again. And that success will be a different experience for you. So I want you to really consider that as we go through the lessons of today. Now, our first and most important lesson is about, this consciousness, this wealth consciousness. And it's not just having, positive attitude. I mean, that's kind of maybe what most people consider positive thinking seminars. No, that's not what we are talking about. We're not just talking about having a positive mind. We're talking about actually building a new consciousness for yourself. So I'm going to share a screen first of all, and we're going to kind of share this concept of this consciousness that we're talking about. Let me see here. So yesterday we talked about putting 3 $100 bills on a money clip. And you can get a gold money clip if you want. I know at one point I had rocks of gold, actual gold money clip. And I put the money like this, and it's 3 $100 bills if you're in the US, or the equivalent. We saw some of the leaders, and in different currency, it could be quite a few bills. But the equivalent of 3 $100 bills, and then putting the smaller money inside. So the idea is to, spend with the smaller money, but keep the bigger money on the outside of the clip. Now, we're going to talk about some things like mastermind later on, and this is an interesting concept. But sometimes I would, take out my money clip, and I would be paying for it, let's say a small thing like ice cream cone, and I'd be flipping through the $100 bills. And then I'd get to my 20s, and then my 10s, 5s, and then I'd take out, $5 and pay for the ice cream cone. But what happens behind you is that everybody's kind of looking and maybe thinking, wow, this guy is loaded. This guy's got a lot of money. And if you think about what that did, it created a small mastermind of a thought. And thoughts are things. And that thought carries with it a benefit to you. So there's a lot of reasons to do this, but your job is to discover it for yourself. I remember when I first started this process, It was very difficult for me. I was a monkey personality. That means that I would spend money and I not even know where the money went. I would break the first $100 bill, and then suddenly my money clip was empty, and I was like, "Where did the $300 go? I don't spend that much." And then suddenly, when I was really bad and my consciousness was really bad, I'd even lose the clip. So I remember losing that solid gold clip. I was so mad. Like took me months to save up to buy that solid gold clip, and I lost it because my money consciousness went down. And you know what? That's okay. If that happens, just start again. I remember selling off CDs at that time, CDs, and I had a big collection of beautiful music, and I just go and peddle it around just so I could get the $300 back on my clip. I was not making that much money. So at the time I met my mentor, I was not, in any means able to just take it out of the bank. So it was very, very challenging for me to keep this $300. And I know one of Rose's friends challenged herself to do this, and a year later came back and showed us her purse, and like, I don't know, this thing really works. I have hundreds and like thousands of dollars in cash in my purse every day now. It's amazing how this works. And so I just want you guys to start this process. She said, before I never had a dollar to my name, and now I have thousands of dollars in my purse all the time. It's amazing. So one of the challenges I have for you is to start looking at your wealth consciousness. And I know that in Latin America, sometimes it's kind of scary. People think, oh, wow, what if somebody comes and robs me or I lose it somehow? And, I gotta say, in the years of doing this, like 40 years of doing this, there was one time I lost it. One time out of 40 years. But imagine what it has paid me to do it. So, I mean, there's no comparison, okay? And so I just really ask, the challenge is to get this done. That's part of your homework from yesterday. I want to know if I don't know if we have the chat on, Javier or Jillian, but I want to know if you have accomplished your goal today, the homework last night. Can you please put your name in the chat box and where you're from? Can you put your name in the chat box for us so you can kind of see that? Let me see here. Escape a little bit so I can see this. So I'm going to tell you that one of my goals, if you look at the top right corner, this is my dream board. And I told you that it takes me 2 years to accomplish my dreams, but I'm having my dream right now, because if you look, it says Zoom 1000, Think and Grow Rich, TAGR, and Team TEPU, Team Elite Platinum University. I'm accomplishing one of my goals right now of Zoom 1000. So I want to thank everybody to be a part of my dream, my goal. And I'm having, a great challenge with this, to have enough space and do what we can to afford this incredible event. And so we do have, and let your friends know if they're trying to get on and they cannot, we have a YouTube link that we have passed out, the leaders have passed out, and that YouTube link will allow people to get on, and they can hit translation on the YouTube link, and they can get the subtitling on it in Vietnamese, Korean, or Spanish, and they can watch it that way. And we do have a Facebook link as well, so we'll post that onto the chat. Javier, if you can post those on the chat for anybody that is out of the range of this broadcast. But I have accomplished quite a few goals from this dream map. The one in the center is my main dream, to be in love every day. And I gotta say, I have accomplished that goal to a great sense. And I think this year will be even better than ever for me. But I'm still working on this goal on the left here. This goal is to have a six-pack and to be 165 pounds in perfect health. So I'm working on that. I did do a lot of fishing the past few years, and I'm planning to go surfing and riding my bike. So anyway, there is power in dreams. So I want you to set really big goals. One of my big goals is to become the governor of the state of Hawaii, Vision of Hawaii. These are books, to be the governor of the state of Hawaii. So I hope one of our events, our homework is going to be for you to build a dream map like this. And, you know, we've had incredible family vacations, and you can see some of them that Rose broadcast yesterday. But I'm going to, let me see, So I'm going to start our chapter of faith. And this is the key. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And this is Napoleon Hill's really powerful saying of faith. So whatever you can believe, conceive, meaning the statement, and believe, you can achieve. This is the idea. And I'm going to say that today, this chapter of faith, I'm going to approach it many ways, but I want everybody to practice this with me. So I know, turn on your camera and do this. Bring your hand out like this in front of you, and you're going to say it like this. I see it, I believe it, and it is so. I know that's in all languages over there, but I see it, I believe it, and it is so. Bring your hand all the way down to your heart when you do it. I see it, I believe it, and it is so. Bring your hand all the way back. Yes, this is really something my mentor would say every meeting almost, and I wanted you to get that in your heart. It is so, it is done, okay? So I see it. So I want you to see that big picture, that big goal, that one overriding goal for yourself. I see it, I believe it, and it is so. And you bring it to your heart and say, yes, it is. Okay? Faith is the eternal elixir. It gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. So faith is the key factor. Now, one of the things we're going to work on today is how to have faith, how to have discipline, how to do this we need to do to get this thought wavelength into our brain, to get the, this incredible energy into our brain. And there is these three factors that give you the power. We're going to cover sex transmutation a little later on in the chapter of sex transmutation, but it is faith, which is a very holy type of word, but it's faith, love, and sex. So it's this faith, which is spiritual, love, that it has this, really incredible energy, and sex, which is just physical. But when you put those three things together, there is magic. And maybe you've heard it this way, that every great man, there is a beautiful love and a woman that empowers that greatness. You maybe have heard that before. And every great man and woman pretty much have this incredible ability, this mastermind achievement, when you have those three elements mixing, the mixture of energy And so I want you guys to start thinking about that. Am I missing some of that energy? And remember yesterday I told you to write a square in your book, and maybe there's something you can do to improve this triad of power to increase your ability to believe. And so when someone believes in you, you have this power. And that is part of the idea. So what we're talking about is wavelengths. And I want you to think about maybe a radio wave. This is light wave. But there is a wavelength that is success, like the success wavelength. And my mentor was always talking about broadcasting the success signal. And that's why we are challenging you to carry that $300, to start really thinking about your success and committing to it. And maybe the most strongest statement Napoleon Hill said was, if you do not look at your, becoming rich or becoming really wealthy, if you don't look at that, you will never have it. And the word never really affected me when I heard that. So what we're doing is broadcasting this wavelength, and there's all kinds of wavelengths in the air. But when we take our device, our brain, and we tune in to the success channel, we can then connect ourselves to the right people. We start attracting the right circumstances. And, later on when we're talking about this, amazing subconscious mind in the synchronicities that start occurring when we are connected to the wavelength of success. So what we're talking about with faith is you're going to change your wavelength. You're going to change your broadcast station, and you're going to tune in to success channel. So everything is energy. This is Albert Einstein, and he said, everything is energy, and that is all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. So again, this is sort of like the law. You drop the pen, gravity takes it straight to the ground. This is a law. So once we tune into the wavelength of success and we start to see our success, we match frequency with everything that will bring us the success we want. And the converse to that, if we keep on looking at our lives the way it is and start, complaining and looking at all of the problems, that's the frequency we attract. So we have to change our frequency. The subconscious mind takes any orders given it in a spirit of absolute faith. So when we believe in absolute faith, and sometimes I say it this way, you will be challenged to the point that at some point you'll be challenged. If you want a really big goal, you'll get so challenged that you will have to have faith in faith. You will have to step forward when everything looks like impossible or it's not going to happen. And there is that moment. But what you do is step forward in absolute faith. So this is 100% faith. Patience is such an important commodity to have. Most people don't have patience, and that's because they don't have faith. So how to gain patience and persistence is through faith. You will notice that these first 4 chapters that we are covering is repeated in every other chapter of the book. You will see it over and over. And in fact, as you read this book, read it the way it was meant to be read. My mentor forced us, in fact, to only read it the way it was meant to be read. So during the chapter of faith, he says, go back and repeat the chapter. In autosuggestion, the last paragraph is about you need to prove this to yourself by reading autosuggestion every day for 30 days. So that is part of the way the book was meant to be read. This book was never meant to be read cover to cover. It's meant to be read forward, backwards. When you're in the chapter again in persistence, it will tell you to go back and go to autosuggestion. And then it will force you to read it over and over and over again. And that is because we are building upon this process of faith, okay? We're going to build this muscle, I guess you could say, of faith. So I had all of the translators with their translated version of this to share this self-confidence formula. Now, one of the things you have to do is memorize this. And I know it's not easy to memorize such a long document. So what I recommend is you yell out the first or second or third, the numbers, yell it out really loudly. And then your mind starts picking up the next words, and it will help you to remember that paragraph. And then read the rest. So you're going to just, try to memorize the first paragraph and then read the rest of it. And then memorize the second paragraph and then read the rest of it. And then memorize first, second, and third paragraph and then read the rest of it, fourth, and then finally the fifth. I don't know, for some reason, the fifth was the easiest paragraph for me to remember. So I started kind of backwards. But I remember one day, my son started this, Evan started to read this, and about 2 days in, he memorized it. And I was like, what? It took me more than 4 months to memorize this. He memorized it in 2 days. I was like, that's like nearly impossible. How is that? Then I realized what probably happened. My shower stall where I do my statement of self-confidence every morning is next to his bedroom. And I'm sure he was sleeping most of the time, but still his subconscious was listening. That's what I believe happened. And it picked it up. So when it was time for him to memorize it, his subconscious knew the answer right away and was able to deliver in 2 days this statement. I'm going to read it right now. And I want all of the translators to just go for it. Read it out loud strongly, because what I'm trying to tell you is you have to add emotion, energy, and power every time you read it. You have to read it out loud. This is not something, you got to put energy into this, okay? This is not something that's just going to automatically happen. There is a price you must pay for this very special power. And part of that price you have to pay. You will not understand it until you do, okay? So I'm just going to do it real quickly, from memory. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards this attainment, and I here now promise to render such action. Second, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. Third, I know through the principles of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I devote 10 minutes daily to the demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Fourth, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life and I shall never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use as the corporation of other people. I induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by creating love for all humanity, because I know a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. I sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it out loud twice daily with full faith that it gradually transforms my thoughts and actions, affirming that I am a self-reliant and successful team elite leader. Thank you, God, for it is done. Now, you may notice some things about reading this. I got rid of almost all of the wills, like I will have, I will do this, I will do that. I've gotten rid of most of them because one of the things my mentor taught us is to say everything in present tense. And will is, when you say I will, is kind of future tense. So that's one of the things I did when I wrote this out. So ours and the book's version is just a little different in that way. I did have some of my leaders, try to put in positive terms, I eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism. But I really don't recommend that. I think it's really important that you realize when you're in envy or jealousy or cynicism that you are there and you're telling yourself no more. I know that's kind of a contradiction to the idea that we're talking about, but I think it makes Napoleon Hill's work was very sound, and I find myself really reviewing that sometimes. And you become this really beautiful person as you develop love for all humanity. So I'm going to teach you a couple keys to this statement, and we're going to call it super learning, but I'm going to go backwards and kind of go back to the statement. So when it says, I will spend 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. So this self-confidence formula is not just words. It's a doing paragraph. I must do 30 minutes thinking of the team elite I intend to become. So I want you tonight, as part of your homework, I want you to write down the name of the person you intend to become. And, pick out that person that has the same type of personality maybe as you, or somehow you see yourself maybe speaking on stage like that person, or you see yourself doing something like that person. Pick out that team elite that you intend to become. This is one of the best reasons to go to the big events, because you get to see a lot of them and you can kind of think, wow, that one's kind of like me. And then you can replicate that. 30 minutes daily, thinking of that person. When you do that, take maybe a copy of a video of their presentation or an audio. I took an audio of Jeff Mack's presentation, and I'd listen to it every time before going to a presentation. So I've listened to that probably 700 or 800 times. And after a while, you will pick up their sound. You'll pick up all of their words. You'll pick up all of their sound. And pretty soon, you'll have their tone of voice. And once you have their tone of voice, you'll notice that you will pick up their belief. And that's the key, because we're talking about faith and it's about belief. And when you believe as a leader, you do like a leader, then you become a leader. That's exactly how it works. So I want you guys to really, tonight as your homework, who is that person you're going to replicate? And then get onto YouTube or wherever you can find their presentation, maybe a couple of trainings, and then listen to it 500 times. 500 times. That's your homework, okay? And obviously it's not something you're going to do in the next day, but start that process of faith. You're going to be building that faith. Third, you're going to spend 10 minutes every day doing something you fear. It says, I devote 10 minutes daily demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. And what that is saying is do something 10 minutes that you fear. So I want you to identify with your leader what it is that you fear. And then you're going to do it every time. So I don't like making calls. Okay, I'm going to spend, 10 minutes calling my scary list, the most difficult people for me to call. I'm going to spend, that was Eileen's decision, that she was going to call everyone, even the scariest ones. She called, Jim Haziki, my senior partner, who is 4-star platinum, team elite, right? $5 million circle. And he called me. It was her biggest achievement. You understand that? So if she had not taken that objective of making those difficult calls, if you're limited right now, one person can completely change your life, your business, everything that you're doing right now. And so this is part of the self-confidence formula. So go ahead and do those things. And that is how you super learn. That's how you become incredibly powerful. That's how you turn on the subconscious mind. So fear and faith have something in common. They both ask us to believe in something we cannot see. Fear and faith have something in common. They both ask us to believe in something we cannot see. So I'm going to just ask you this question. Are you in faith or are you in fear most of the time? Faith versus fear. So I want you to be really honest with yourself and say, last year, 2022, were you in faith or were you in fear? And maybe that broken house is what the result of that thinking. So 2023, decide you're going to be in faith. Set a goal you don't think you can achieve, and then and only then will you truly apply the idea, the concept of faith. You have to practice this. This is something you must exercise. This is an exercise. And it's not just, oh yeah, I got it, I understand. No way. You know when you understand it, because your building is going to be amazing. So I remember I was walking in the plane one day, and you enter the door. I turned right, looking down the aisle, and the alarm went off in my pocket. And I was like, there is the choice. Am I going to believe in my dreams? Am I going to do whatever it takes? Or am I going to chicken out and just walk to my seat? I knew what that alarm meant. It meant do your statement. And I was like, no, wait, And I just literally, everybody looked like this picture right here as I walked down, and it's my birthday, June 21st, 2023. And I, Alan Nagao, am receiving over $300,000 in monthly residual income from my global Nu Skin enterprise business. I easily and effortlessly accomplished my 3 threes. And I was yelling the statement all the way down to my seat. I sat down in my seat. I gotta tell you, that day, nobody talked to me. Nobody, not even the airline attendant didn't even talk to me. People just was like shocked that I would yell that as I'm walking to my seat. But you decide what is more important. And I will tell you that that day, I broke through my wall. I broke through that embarrassment. I just said, I'm doing whatever it takes to end world hunger. This is the way it is. And I want you to understand there's a price to pay for success. And are you willing to pay that price? And I'm going to ask that question, in the chat. If you are willing, put your name in the chat and say, I'm willing to pay the price for my success. Oops. I don't know what happened. I'm stuck. Oh, there we go. So imagine your brain is this polluted swimming pool. It's full of green, yucky mess. It's just covered in green algae, and it's just, full of dirt. So people tell me, why is it I'm doing my statement self-confidence formula, I'm doing everything and nothing seems to be changing? And what it is that imagine now I take a beautiful water hose, clean water, and I start pouring it, put the hose into the pool, and I turn it on full blast, and I start filling the pool up, and it overflows into the drains, and it's like going like this. And I come back in a day or two, and I pool, and it looks exactly the same. And now, a week, 2 weeks go by, I come back, it's the same. And it's not working. Well, if you came back 6 months later, wow, looks a little better. Looks better. It's green, but it's looking better. You come back in a year, and it's pretty clean. I mean, maybe after 1 year, I would consider swimming in the pool. Right? It's not green anymore. It's it looks okay. But 2 years later, and the pool looks like that. That's your mind. You're filling it with clean, pure thought. And it takes time. So part of the objective here is to have patience as you go through this. You're cleaning your mind. You're adding clean water into your mind, and it does take time for it to grow. So I don't know, maybe in your still square box that you wrote, you write down, you know what? I've decided to do this more than 2 years because I need to clean my mind. I polluted it, the last 3 years with COVID and news broadcasts and negativity, and you gotta vanguard or clear or protect your mind from any negative thought. Because if you throw a bunch of cow poo inside of the pool every day, that will just never get clean, okay? So you have to protect. My mentor forced us not to watch any television, news, newspaper, radio. I don't even have cable in this house. Not for television anyway. I have it for my computers, but I don't even run a television here. And during COVID, I was the least informed about it because I needed to see the perfect end result. And all of that pollution could not enter my mind. So how powerful is faith anyway? I mean, incredibly powerful, right? This is what it takes. So everyone faces defeat. It may be a stepping stone or a stumbling block, depending on your mental attitude, which it is fed. I remember I was in the Korean meeting and they were saying, wow, amazing. Patty had 31 new team elites. How did that happen? And I told them, it was not a 1-year process. Yes, they became a team elite in 1 year, but it was 7 years of training, this kind of training, to get prepared, prepare their mind. So when the difficult thing happened, they saw it as an opportunity, not a problem. And COVID came and they were like, whoa, they just went for it. So, it's years of preparation and then 1 year of really hard work. But that's the key. Keep the faith. The most amazing thing in life tend to happen right at the moment you're about to give up hope. So we're going to talk about this, taking the next step when you're against a wall. I know some of you have heard the story, my story of, when I was in Japan and the bum on the street kicked me off the street. And I was, trying to perform yo-yo tricks on the street and the bum was behind me like, get off my street. And that day I felt lower than the bum on the street. And I remember that day when I was crying and all of the negative thoughts came back, like, you spent all of this money, you're a fool, you're crazy. What are you thinking? You can sell 1 million yo-yos in Japan. All of that came back to me and I was defeated. Luckily, I had my mastermind and they reminded me to do the statement. And I did my statement, 100 times that day. And all of the negative energy, all of the rejection, all of the pain, all of the money I spent, all of the feeling inadequacy, I was able to turn those emotions into the statement and the self-confidence formula and everything I wanted. So any kind of emotion will work to help you with this. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk, says Martin Luther King. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. The way my mentor said, don't let the sun set without taking one step towards your goal. So decide today, you're not going to ever do a day without taking one step towards your goal. What have you done today to achieve your goal? What can you do today to bring you one step closer to your goal? Those small, minute steps. I remember in doing the goal of Ala Moana Center, one of my first priorities that day was to walk in to the management office of Ala Moana and pick up the application to rent a space in Ala Moana. I mean, that was so tough for me to do. I did not have the confidence to pick up that application from the largest mall in Hawaii. And I remember looking at that app and saying, I can't fill this out. It says list all your locations. I had one, and there was 5 spaces. List all of your years, your last 5 years of sales and financials. I had like 3 years. It said, it asked me questions I could not even answer. What's your sales projection? I couldn't answer it. It took me days to figure this out. You'll hear when we talk about the idea of, organized planning, and in the future chapters, I'm going to tell you more about that story. But what one small thing can you do today to take one step closer to your goal? I remember my first day when I was going to build my house, I put on my army pants and boots and walked out to the property, and the contractor was there, the foreman was there. And I'll tell you, that whole day, I just followed him around and I was asking him, what can I do to help me? And he just grunt at me. He's smoking his cigar and he's just like, And I'm the owner of the property, but he was like, and he just like walk away. And, I spent the whole day just like walking around in circles. What a waste of my time. But, 3 days, I persisted in doing that. And on the third day, he finally gave me a job. He said, dig a trench. I said, where? He said, from here to there. He just pointed in the ground, like from here to there. And I said, how deep? How wide? What are you going to use it for? And he never answered me. So I just started digging. I said, can you give me some tools? He didn't give me any tools. I mean, it was just, I started digging. It was lava rock, and I was digging. But that's part of your idea. I'm going to tell you that it takes this kind of strength, to go after what you want. And some days don't look like anything is happening, but trust me, something is happening, because your fortitude, your strength gets stronger. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So remember this idea. Just go out there with your boots and your military pants and just get ready. And then something will happen. I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to start to be great. You have to go down to Colombia, right? As Patty and I did, and start in Pasto, Colombia, right? I mean, you have to start somewhere, and it doesn't matter. Believing in yourself is the first secret to success. And I know you're going to say to me, but I don't believe in myself. Pretend. That's all I'm going to say. Pretend. Use this self-confidence formula every day and watch what happens. And people make the huge mistake of doing the statement and not the self-confidence formula. You have to do both, because the statement is what I want. The self-confidence formula is I believe I can do it. You have to have both. I believe. I want, I believe, and if you help people along the way, I help, or I love, or I give, is the third part of that formula. I want, I believe, I help, I give. Yeah. A man is but a product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. So what are you thinking about? I remember working with some of my mentors. We were on a project and they asked me every day, think about what you are thinking about. Think about what very Eastern type of training. Think about what you're thinking about while we're digging trenches, while we're dirty, while we're working in the rain. Think about what you're thinking about. And by then, luckily I had, a year with my mentor, more than a year with my mentor. So I was trained. My brain was so strong. People were like, what are you doing, Alan? I'm whistling. I'm happy. I'm just like having a great time. People look so miserable. And I was so happy, because you get stronger with this practice. You must decide, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I don't mean just working hard strong. That's not what I'm talking about. You got to be more strong than that. You got to be focused. You got to, start taking action. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. So, I wish to be, I sometimes think this is Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. I think about Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Gandhi. I think about, all of these great leaders, and I think, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Alan Nagao. Like, whenever I do that, I go, oh my God, I need my self-confidence formula. I'm not there yet. I know, I can tell. Because I'm like, I need my self-confidence formula. And I'm going to ask you this question. If I need my self-confidence formula, do you need to do your self-confidence formula every day? I mean, think about that. I need it every day. If I need it every day, do you need it every day? And I hope the answer is absolutely, right? So this is really the bottom line. I mean, I've been doing this 40 years and I still need my self-confidence formula. Maybe not to make millions of dollars, maybe not to, have this incredible relationship, but I definitely need it to change the world, to end world hunger, to do the big goals of my life. So I want you to really decide, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to see a new life, even though what's around me is not that what I see. In other words, you got to blind yourself of what is in the world, what you see in this world, so you can start visualizing the new world that you wish to do. First, they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. So I love Mahatma Gandhi for his quotes, because these are my true experiences as well. And, I have gone through lots of experiences like this, even through my new skin business. I went through all of these things, and you win. That's what happens. When you continue to have faith, you win. You will win. And that's all that there is to be told. Decide this is going to be your win year. A sign of a good leader is not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you create. I want you to write that down. It's not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you create. That is the sign of a good leader. So let's create leaders this year. My goal and Patty's goal is to create 100 new team elites this year, and I know we're going to overproduce. We're going to overproduce this year. I feel so confident this year. So think health, be a force for good. This was one of our logos during the COVID. And I think it's so powerful when you start doing this. So how do you get this all into your brain? How do you work it in? And that is the chapter 4, autosuggestion. The medium to influencing your subconscious mind. So you got to reprogram your subconscious mind. The third step to riches. Autosuggestion is an instrument that we possess at birth. And in this instrument, or rather in this force, resides a marvelous and incalculable power. This is like the best way to say it, I think. It's something we have at birth, and it's a force. And this is how we call it, it's a force. And sometimes my mentor called it habit force. We are going to create habits through this auto-suggestion, this force. So we're starting this today. We're going to have you do this every morning, do your statement and self-confidence formula, and start visualizing your success. Auto-suggestion, what it is and how to use it for health, happiness, and success. Basically, for everything you want. And I'll tell you the truth. If you don't use it for everything you want, you're using it for everything you don't want. It's not like, okay, if I don't plant good seeds, then I'll have an empty field. No, you will have a field of weeds. It's automatic to grow weeds. You know, this last 2 years I was in COVID, I'll tell you, I absolutely noticed that if I don't plant good things, I get weeds anyway. So you gotta plant good seed every day and weed your garden every single day. So how do you do this? Positive affirmations for health, for healing, for everything that you want. So take some time to do these kinds of activities during your day. Don't get so busy that you forget to do your statement and self-confidence formula. You gotta take some time to reprogram your mind. Take some time to, visualize your success. Take some effort and energy. The wisdom of Napoleon Hill's transformed in 303 affirmations. I mean, there's so many of these things on the internet you can study and learn. Train your brain for success. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to train our brain for success. No thought, whether it is negative or positive, can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion. I want you to listen to what that just said. No thought, negative or positive, can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion. So we're going to give you some very powerful tools to reprogram your mind. Of course, self-confidence formula and all of that. And when you do this, be careful. I will pass my finals. I will pass my class. I will not be defeated is a negative form. It forces you to see a picture of defeat. You got to be careful not to put in these kinds of statements into your statement or into your mind. So it's not what you not want to be, because it's going to give you that picture. You got to picture what you want, only what you want. And feel it. Feel the emotion. As I told you with my goal with my home, I had to feel it. And when I said, I'm going to build this home with my dad, I was so happy. I could feel that energy, the love and the want. And then I could then empower my statement. So you're going to be firing up your goals with this auto-suggestion. You're going to be firing up your self-confidence formula. That's the whole idea here. So how do you do this? Use the power of thought, emotion, and faith. Use the power of thought mixed with faith and emotion to improve yourself, such as build confidence. How you think or perceive yourself is how you are. So think good thoughts. There are no limitations of the mind except those we acknowledge. Listen to the examples in the book to re-emphasize these core principles and philosophy, and to develop the power of your mind. So later on, we can review some of these ideas, but the whole idea is use the power of thought, emotion, and faith. That's the whole idea. It is the repetition of affirmations that lead to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen, says Muhammad Ali. So, my mentor really projected this onto us every day. And I'm going to be doing some really powerful things tonight to help you to project this into your mind so that you can see your success before you succeed. You can visualize the perfect end result so that what isn't is more important than what is. So we're going to be practicing this. And here you see the four thinkers, right? Now, most people here have goals, or they wouldn't even be here. There's no reason to come. But truthfully, you will lose your goals. You will become a number four thinker. The minute you go into a valley between the mountaintop to mountaintop, you will lose your goals. You will forget them. And at that point, don't go searching for your goals. Just remember what you wrote in your statement, what you said you wanted at the top of the mountain, when you felt good about yourself, your commitment for the year. Just do that. Go back to that. And don't go searching for your goals when you have no goals. You'll waste 10 years of your life. So if you're one of them, those monkeys that keep on changing their goals and you become spaghetti brain, you got to get focused and you got to become single-minded. And what does that mean to become single-minded? It means throw away all of the other little stars. I know that's like so limiting. It feels so, I was a monkey, so I know how it feels. It feels like giving up all of those goals is so limiting. But if you accomplish that big goal, you will be able to accomplish many of the little ones automatically. So give it up. Give up those goals and focus on one and only one. Kind of burn your ships so that you are now focused on that one thing. So I know when we say burn your ships, what that really means is, the conquistadors, as they came over to Mexico, the captain literally burnt the ships. As they got off the boat, they burnt their ships behind them. And he said to his men, look, we have only one way to go. We either win or we die. There's no other way. And, the fact that Mexicans speak Spanish now will tell you what was the result of that burning the ships, right? I mean, all South America now speaks Spanish, right? So yeah, they won. They won the battle. And that's what I'm going to tell you. This is the key to become a number one thinker. Sometimes you just have to burn your ships and say, there's no turning back. I'm going forward. Put the 100-pound dog behind you and have it chase you, and you will jump a 10-foot wall. So if you're a number two thinker, you focus on the problems. You're much more focused than number three, but you're focused on the wrong thing. It's the economy, it's my upline, it's the downline, it's the compensation plan, it's, I don't know, whatever. It's the price, whatever it is. You focus on the problem and you get bigger problems. And pretty soon you become the problem. I think many of us, including me, I was number two last year. I mean, really, I got to admit it. I was number two. I was looking at problems. And this year, I'm looking at the goal. I'm looking at the goal. We're going to feed 100,000 kids. I mean, look at the goal. And when you concentrate on the goal, you emit this energy, this enthusiasm. That's what that energy is called. And you can feel that enthusiasm bleeding off of me right now. And that's because of this. And you can see the results, right? The law of attraction. We have more than 1,000 people. And that's because of this one fact that we are continuously looking at the goal. And it's not an effort, trust me. I don't feel any force of effort. It's exciting, it's fun, it's challenging, it's everything. People ask me all the time, why are you still doing this? Because this is what life juice is about. Go out and help a lot of people and enjoy the journey along the way. So this is called a Muse or brain sensing headband. You can buy this. It's about $300, I think. And what happens is when you relax, when you're not relaxed, the audio signal that comes from your iPhone or whatever you're connected to will be like waves, like crashing storm wind. And then as you relax down to alpha, you'll hear the water just lapping along the shore. And then pretty soon you hear birds tweeting. And when it's tweeting, that gives you this biofeedback. It's a biofeedback mechanism of your brain waves. So you're in alpha. And of course, practicing for 30, 40 years, I put it on and I was hearing birds like right away, like birds tweeting. And I remember when first Rose put this thing on, she's like, how do you get the birds to tweet? But practice, okay? So that's what I'm saying. This takes practice. So we're going to teach you a way to see the perfect picture. So if you look at this movie theater screen, we're going to place black lights, bulbs all around the screen. And this is like, think of it like, the really big, super clear, high definition, Dolby sound or whatever you want to say, theater with lights. I think of it like a super high definition 3D, super grand, large screen, and then put black and white lights going all the way around. And I'm going to do a meditation with you. I want you to hold something up that will make noise when it falls down. Hold it between your legs, and we're going to do a quick meditation here. And Patty, if you can record it in Spanish so that, I think Javier probably got it, but just an audio recording. If you could record an audio recording, and I'll record it in English here. And we'll put it on our chat right after this. So you hold the pen up like this. So if it falls, you pick it back up. So if you fall asleep, you're going to drop it. Don't hold it in your hand this way. Hold it like this, okay? Like you're pinching it in your hands. And then you're going to put it between your legs. Sit at the front of the seat, not leaning back. Give yourself every chance to actually do this meditation. And I'm going to go over colors of the rainbow: red for relaxation, orange for emotion, yellow for clearing your mind or emptying your mind, green for peace, blue for love, purple for seeking out the deepest inner levels of your mind, and violet for entering that alpha state, the high energy of violet, right? Violet is kind of like pink and purple mixed together. And then going down, and then we're going to just find a quiet place in nature, on the beach, in a forest, in a tree house is my place. I always go to, on a cliff, sitting on a cloud, wherever you want to be, where you feel very confident and comfortable. And then we're going to put this picture screen that I have here with the black and white lights. And then we're going to put all of the things the way it is, the things we don't want maybe, into the picture. And we're going to see our health, our relationships, our perfect self-expression actually. So that means like if you love to play music or, go fishing, whatever you love to do, you put it in the screen. Maybe not having enough time to do that or whatever, and then make a picture later on with the white lights on of the perfect end result. So the perfect house that you want, the car you want, the material things also, and the spiritual things. Like I want 100,000 bags of vitamin for Vietnam. So I'm going to put that in that picture screen. So you can just flash those pictures on the screen as I'm going through this meditation with you. And then we're going to come back up the rainbow again. And this is called the dark screen, light screen meditation. So I'm going to start my recording here. So this is the dark screen, light screen meditation. Take a deep breath and close your eyes. 3 deep breaths. Relax. 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 And visualize the color red, strawberries, rolling down your entire body, taking with it any stress, physical stress or strain out of your body. Feel any tension, muscle tension, and relax, relax, relax. Take another deep breath. Blow out any stress. Feel the top of your head, the blood, the warmth of the blood at the top of your head, and feel your top of your head totally relax. And feel that warmth rolling down around your eyes, and release the little muscles around your eyes. Feel them all relax. Let go. And now feel that relaxation rolling down your cheeks, your jaws, your lips, your tongue, your throat, and feel all of that relaxation. Feel the relaxation in the back of your head, the color red, rolling down to your neck, and the muscles in your neck relax. Your shoulders, all the way down to your arms, your hands. Relax. Relax your chest. Now feel the relaxation in your internal organs of your chest, your heart, your lungs. Feel it beat with perfect harmony with nature. Nice rhythmic beat in your inhales and exhales. As you take a deep breath, feel that relaxation in your stomach, your back, your spine. Feel that relaxation, relaxing your entire spine all the way down to your butt, your legs, your knees, all the way down to your calves and your ankles, all the way down to your feet. Feel the color red just absorbing all of the stress and strain, any worry, loss, fear, any stress, financial tension, relationship tension. Put it into the red and feel that dripping down into the ground through your feet. Relax, relax, relax. And now visualize the color orange. Orange mandarins rolling down your entire body. And put with this orange color any emotions, any negative emotions, any anger, envy, jealousy, any lack, limitation, any emotional, negative emotions, put it onto that orange color, roll it down your body. Any emotions trapped in your stomach or your heart, release it into the orange and feel it rolling down your body all the way down to your feet. Visualize the color yellow. Empty your mind. Yellow bananas rolling down your face. Empty your mind. The yellow color rolling down your body, emptying all the cellular memories, maybe in your neck or in your chest, or cellular memories in your back or your butt. Maybe you got spanked over there and you got cellular memories in the back of your legs. Just let go any cellular memories and let it roll down into the ground. Visualize the color green. Color green is the color of peace. Imagine a beautiful green forest, cool and clean, misty. You walk on the green grass with your bare feet. You feel so happy as you enter the forest, beautiful moss, green moss on the rocks, green bamboo, green leaves all above you with the light twinkling through the leaves. And now as you enter the forest deeply, feel the force of nature all around you and take some deep breaths. Say the word, ah. One more time. Ah. One last time. Ah. Now breathe in the force of nature all around you. And as you let nature in, feel peace enter your life. Nature and peace are one. As you relax and feel peace enter your life. Color green. Let any stress or strain or unpeaceful things out of your life in the color green, absorbed in the color green. Visualize the color blue, blueberries rolling down your entire body. Blue is the color of love. Sit in front of the beautiful blue Pacific Ocean. Look into that deep blue color and feel love enter your life. Beautiful love. As you feel love enter your life, relax, relax, relax. Open your heart to love. Love all the people on earth. Feel a beautiful blue essence coming from your body, touching others around you. And feel beautiful love enter your life. Visualize the color purple, the deep purple as you go deeper into your mind, your inner levels of mind. Relax, relax, relax. As you go deeper, feel all of the stress of the day disappear. With that empty mind, now visualize the color violet, the pink and purple color, the high energy of violet light beaming through crystals above you, crystalline violet, pierce your body as it rolls down through your body and enters you into the deepest and most creative part of your mind, the violet color. And now as you see this beautiful violet, you feel your heart and your mind pick up in energy. As you look forward, visualize you're in a beautiful, peaceful scene from nature, more peaceful, more quiet than you've been, maybe just sitting on a cloud, or on a cliff, or overlooking the ocean, maybe just in a tree, or in space, wherever you want to be, where you feel very safe and quiet. Now in front of you, visualize this beautiful flat screen TV, super high definition, curved screen, 3D, and around it, just put these black and white light bulbs, black, white, black, white, black, white, all the way around. And now with the black lights on, visualize the way things that you don't want to be, maybe the way things are, maybe it's the financial problems, maybe it's emotional, maybe it's relationship problems, maybe just not having time to do what you love to do. Maybe it's, your ability to give and your limitations. See the pictures of the way things are. Maybe it's material, financial. Maybe it's symbolized with an empty wallet or these credit card bills with this huge number on the end. See the picture the way you don't want it to be, with the black lights all around the screen turned on. Maybe it's a physical body, not the way you exactly want it. Overweight, or just under-exercised, or just looking older than you should. So now visualize the picture of that picture with the dark screen on. And now with your left hand, physically move your hand, physically reach up in front of you. So move your hand, put it in front of you, and reach for a switch. And now turn that switch up and on. And with that, you see the beautiful white lights streaming around your big screen TV, your perfect theater. And now see that beautiful white lights just streaming around and around and around, kind of like Las Vegas, with it flickering up and on and off, but making this pattern like streaming around in a circle. And now see the perfect picture of health, of youth, of energy and vibrance, and see yourself in that picture. And the perfect physical things that you're able to do, and how you look, and how amazing and sexy you are. And see your material world. Maybe it's all of your bills paid, and now you have credit, and you have this beautiful new car and new house and all the material things you love, and an abundance in your bank account. You just like, wow, look at that bank account. Maybe that wallet so thick and full of big bills, and you're just so happy. And all of your retirement funds are funded to the max, and your vacations and everything, riding first class in planes. And see that emotional side of you, and your beautiful happiness and love, and your family so happy, and all the people around you so joyous at the abundance of life and time to do all the things you love to do, singing karaoke and playing with your kids and doing all of the great things you want to do, and see you giving to the world. And you created a team and they're all giving, and your difference you're making in this world is enormous, enormous, beautiful, happy, giving, changing communities, changing the world, and giving love and energy and greatness and inspiration. That spirit, you're giving that spirit to the world. And when you see all of those pictures with the bright lights, white lights streaming around, be so happy and give yourself a pat on the shoulder, physically say, good job, and tap yourself on the shoulder, good job, or on the top of your head, depending how you got rewarded, or on your butt. And now you're going to come back to the color violet and the color purple, grapes or plums, color blue, blueberries, color green, green bananas or green limes, yellow bananas, mandarin oranges, red strawberries. Take 3 deep breaths. Come back to the room. Back to this place. In front of your Zoom, if you're sleeping, wake yourself up, shake yourself around a little bit. 16-minute meditation. All right. Want you to text in to the chat. Can we open up the chat room and just share what you are feeling, what you're experiencing at this time? Give us a sense of what's going on for you right now. Can you guys put that feeling into the chat room so I can see it? Yeah. Type in, what do you feel? How do you feel right now? How do you feel more focused? So we want you to practice this meditation. We really want you to practice it and use it for your benefit, your good. And this is like part of our work tonight. We're going to be utilizing this kind of meditation. You can play with it and use it for your good. So we are the masters of our fate, the captains of our soul, because we have the power to control our thought. So tonight was just like one example of a way to control your thought by meditation. There's many ways, by positive affirmations, by as little kids, we teach our kids, like when they come up with a negative thought, we say, cancel. So you can do that, like when you thought, oh man, I can't do that. Wait, cancel. And then say, okay, I can do it. Like cancel. So we can actually do this with a very simple technique to put a dot on your watch. So part of the homework tonight is to put a dot on your watch. Like just get fingernail polish and put a dot on your watch to represent something you want. I know Dean Nguyen made for me this little bracelet. I don't know if you can see it right there. And it says commit. and he stamped it out himself and gave it to me as my trigger device to remember that this year is my year of commit myself to my goals and commit to Rose, commit myself to the things I want. So that's what we want to do. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in your mind. Weak desires bring weak results, just as small fires make small amount of heat. So we got to create this visualization all the time. Even like before you sleep, even while you sleep, start to dream your dream 24 hours a day. You will know when you have opened the channel, because 24 hours a day, you will see the perfect end result. That's when you absolutely know you'll be a blaze. You'll be a fire. And no longer is even hard work difficult to do. You just have so much fun every day. The only limitations are those we set up in our own minds. The mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is faithful servant. So what you're really doing, we have created a society that honors the servant and have forgotten the gift. So we really want to work to find the gift. Find the gift, this incredible power. We're going to cover it many ways this next 6 days, 7 days. And so I want you guys to start to find that gift. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. Okay, so again, this is all about this idea. My experience has taught me that the next best thing to being truly great is to emulate the great by feelings and actions as nearly as possible. So when you go up on stage, think, wow, I'm a team elite. When you act in the world, I'm a leader, I'm powerful. Act as if it's already done. Feel the feeling as it's already done. You know, like, remember my car example, I was driving my car, I was imagining I was in my Lincoln Continental every day as I drove my old Ford, right? But it was clean, it was beautiful. So you got to do that. And you have to avoid this deadly scenario. And this deadly scenario is the effects of self-criticism. One of the most difficult things is to figure out when you're doing it. So if you ever feel blank or blue, you're criticizing yourself. If you ever feel empty, you feel just like not motivated, you have criticized yourself at that moment. So these are some of the effects: low self-esteem, feeling worthless, feeling guilty, self-harm, perfectionism, lack of self-motivation, social anxiety, body, image issues. So if you feel any of those things, you gotta like realize that I'm beating myself. You gotta stop that beating. This is the most deadly thing I see in leaders, that they often are beating themselves. So how do you stop that? Number one, practice self-care. Be kind to yourself. Learn to love yourself. Start at a gratitude journal. Recognize your strengths. Start positive self-affirmations. Step outside your comfort zone. Do not compare yourself to others. Overcome urge for perfectionism. Challenge yourself. Challenge your self-critical thoughts. So, to say, you know what? I'm not doing so bad. No causes and triggers of self-criticism. So I remember when I was working with Rose on this, I said, your time is 8 p.m. So at 8 p.m., you're not allowed to think any negative thoughts about yourself. Like, that's the time. So don't that time especially become like the trigger time. So nighttime. So you cannot do that. So we cannot talk about anything we didn't do that day. We got to only talk about the great things we did that day. So, just know the causes and triggers of self-criticism and seek help if you need from a mental health professional. And these are, real things here. So I want you guys to really, start working on these kinds of things. You have been criticizing yourself for many years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. People ask me all the time, how do you know I beat myself? And that's what I see. When I look at people that beat themselves, that's what I look at. They look so different. Like, I can actually see when somebody is harming themselves, beating themselves. So stop beating yourself and you'll start glowing. You'll start looking amazing. And that's what happens, bottom line. So, criticism of oneself or one's actions, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So when somebody is like, I can't do anything right, you can kind of change that. I can do anything I set my mind to. It's too complicated. I'll tackle it from a different angle. I'm not good enough. I trust myself to succeed. I'm a failure. I learn from my mistakes. So start paying attention to your thoughts. Listen and learn. Your thought patterns will help you better understand how negative thinking is affecting your life. Examine the evidence. So if you notice, I'll tell you some of the evidence you can look for. If you notice that you are probably more productive than 90% of your classmates, but you still don't have confidence, that's a sign that you're a beater. You're beating yourself. If you are more productive than like most people around you, and yet you don't feel productive, that's a sign you're a beater. Replace the negative thoughts with, a realistic statement, and don't over expect also. So we're gonna sing this song together. I asked all of the translators to translate this, but if you want, you can sing it in English, it's fine. So follow the words after me. So repeat after me song. So you're gonna just like, I'm gonna say, I love myself so much. And then you're gonna sing, I love myself so much behind it, okay? I love myself so much. I love myself so much that I can love you so much. And do this with your hands. That you can love you so much. That you could love you so much. That you could love you so much. That you could start loving me. I love myself so much. I love myself so much that I can love you so much. That I can love you so much. That you could love you so much. That you could love you so much. That you could start loving me. Now, I know you're in your home. Probably people think you're crazy. I don't care. Sing it out loud, okay? We're gonna do it all together, all together, all together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I love myself so much. that I can love you so much, that you could love you so much, that you could start loving me. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. So I know in every language we'll post it up, but this song is so important. Sing it every single day. Your ability to use the principles of auto-suggestion will depend very largely upon your capacity to concentrate upon giving desire until that desire becomes a burning obsession. So this is what this is all about. You gotta build it until it becomes a burning obsession. Like the wind that carries one ship east and another west, the law of autosuggestion will lift you up or pull you down according to the way that you set your sail of thought. So your idea is to set your mental positive thought. And you know, don't look at the negative, don't look at the glass half full, look at it as a glass. I mean, don't look at it half empty. Like you're looking at this glass. Don't look at it half empty. Look at it half full, okay? Auto-suggestion is the act of telling yourself something very specific over and over on a daily basis until it comes into fruition. So again, this is the most, you know, the most biggest idea we can tell you. Patience and perseverance are necessary in auto-suggestion as well as everything else that you do. So we're coming to the end of this topic. People who succeed at the highest levels are not lucky. They're doing something different than everyone else. Change your thoughts and you can change your world. So take a deep breath. I deeply feel the joy of being alive and I feel good about being me. Gratitude. So this is the gratitude rock. You know, I have one on my table. Gratitude. Just remind yourself, you know, I carry that rock in my pocket a lot. Be grateful. This is how you begin every day, with gratitude. If you have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it. Wait, let me say that one more time. If I have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it, even if I may not have it at the beginning. And I remember my son saying to me, I'm going to be a singer. And I was like, wow, can you sing? I was so shocked that that came out of my mouth. I was trying to put it back in, but it didn't go back in. And my son just answered me very calmly, said, I can't sing yet, not yet. I never heard him sing, like even through high school, not yet. But the understanding of self-confidence and auto-suggestion drove him to become a singer. And this is from his album Love. And this one he did in Spanish. And I know Jillian's gonna play it for us so you guys can hear it as we kind of finish our night. And I just wanna go over the homework real quick. So self-confidence formula, set your alarms, which you did. Forward thinkers, so put that forward thinker poster up and take a photo of it and send it to your group chat. And put the dot on your watch and tell your leader what that dot means. And tomorrow morning, get up, do your self-confidence formula, your statement together in a group, and talk a little bit about this auto-suggestion topic and this faith topic. You know, tell your leaders how you can be helped to get over the wall when you're having difficulties. What way do you act? Some of you go to sleep. Some of you, get angry and blame. Others, run away or get sick or, go to sleep. Figure out which way you do it, and then ask your leader to help you and tell them which way. Some people need a day to rest and figure it out themselves, and then they can get going again. And other people need a kick in the butt. Some people need to be reminded of their goals, and some people need a hug. So, which way is your way? Figure it out, talk to your leaders, and that's the conversation you want to do on the Zoom tomorrow morning. So if we can play this song.
Vamos a conectar. Perdóname.
Actually get that on YouTube under.
Bueno, podéis tener esto en YouTube, lo podéis conseguir.
Yeah, Evan from Evan. Yeah, you're still
I'm out.
You're
Sorry.
out. Yeah, we flew you out so that everybody could hear. You know what? We'll just start the last song, Jillian, and you can pull everybody out of translation, and then we'll kind of finish up our night. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, no time for question and answers because it took so long. These are the toughest chapters to cover. Tomorrow should be much better. Things. Anyway, you guys, have a great evening. Aloha.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, everyone.
If you could let everybody speak, Jillian. Open all of the mics, yeah. Don't know what happened. Jillian, open up all the mics, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
También.
Love, love.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks, Alan. Gracias, Alan.
Cheli, ya te vi. Abre tu cámara.
Por la hora, se me cruzan a veces con el seminario, pero suspendí esta semana.
Claro, tiene razón. Muy bien, Dani.
Hay que suspender.
Obvio.